Friends, I would like to put in certain stories, certain experiences. I hope you will try and appreciate the same. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. We always say ignorance of law is a good excuse. But is arrogance to technology an option? Interestingly, friends, we are talking about green crimes, and I'm going to only stick to that. And when we talk about green criminology or crimes against nature or environmental crimes, we have some interesting challenges globally, nationally, and locally. And the point is, if you do not know the law and if you do not know the advancement of technology, then probably you will continue to commit crimes against nature. This is a proposition that I am placing before you. Now, how do I contextualize this? First, I have 3 stories to start off. I hope you will appreciate these 3 stories. And these are 3 of my heroes. And I would like to explain them to you so that you also get inspired from them. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Because see, always having some heroes is always good for us. Okay, my first hero is from my own state. Now, few years back, some of you know, and if you are from Karnataka, there was a very famous sandalwood smuggler from Karnataka, and his name is. Okay. If in today's context, if technology was there, and you are all probably lawyers, how do you apply technology to stop a crime from Mr. Veerappan?
Drones over the place where it has.
You would have drones over the place. Okay, excellent. Great. He was a little creative. He said not still cameras, not CCTV. Very good. I'm happy. Yes, anyone else? No, usually we always think that technology is for the technological world and technology related crimes. The aspect is what Puri Pokhriyal spoke about. Does technology apply to even traditional crimes? Do they help you solve conventional crimes? Will they help us solve green crimes or crimes related to environment? Of course, in the current context when we talk about fingerprint, DNA, CCTV camera, most of what we are deploying as technology is for offenses that are committed by human beings against human beings. But are human beings committing offenses against nature, against wildlife, against trees and forest, against climate? And should we also deploy the same advanced technology to find convictions in green crimes? That is the question that I'm just trying to address myself. And thanks to Prof. T.R. Subramanian, when he gave us this invitation a couple of days back, he said, you should look at technology, green crimes. Then, with due acknowledgement and footnoting Prof. Subramanian, I and Jay went to Dehradun. We just returned back yesterday night. We were in Dehradun to train Indian Forest Service officers. But the aspect that we want to train Indian Forest Service officers is, in case they are going to prosecute tomorrow, people who are doing crimes against nature, are they going to deploy technology? For example, we have human trafficking. It's a major problem. Is technology being deployed for human trafficking? The answer is yes. But please note, friends, Bangalore is the technological capital of this country. It's supposed to be, at least. And Bangalore, because it is the technological capital of the country, is also the wildlife trafficking capital of the country. You do not know the amount of wildlife smuggling that is happening from the city of Bangalore. Tremendous. Now, is technology the reason for the same? The answer is yes. Because like Professor Pokhriyal did say, technology has huge benefits, but technology is also bringing the world to commit more crimes. It is bringing the world nearer, easier. Now you must be saying, sir, Veerappan is an old case, not my generation. Why should I think of adopting technology to Veerappan? He's an old man, dead, encountered, Okay, what did Veerappan do? Finally, he killed some elephants. Yeah. What did Veerappan do? He smuggled what? Sandalwood. Yeah, sandalwood is there. Mysore sandalwood is also selling sandalwood. What is the big deal? Huh? Elephants. Tuskers. Okay. Friends, how many of you... See, when I said Veerappan, no one laughed. It's an old case. Tell us current, contemporary. This film is made on whose story? Inspired by true events. Whose true events? Any idea? Unfortunately, most of you, when you go to film and to see this, you must have reached 10 minutes late. Or even if you have gone 10 minutes early, you will only see Tambaku Gale ke liye, and when that Tambaku comes, then after that, what it comes, you don't see. Friends, please note, this film is inspired by a person called Arkrot Bhai. Yeah, you don't know him, as he's not as famous as Veerappan. Because you must have noticed, Veerappan actually alleged to have poached nearly 3,000 elephants. Alleged to have poached nearly 3,000 elephants. Now, when I say nearly 3,000 elephants, technology was not there to actually map and identify how many elephants were there in the Nagarhole, Bandipur and MM Hills region. We did not have technology. We did not have samples and DNAs of each of these wild animals and species. We have not collected it even today. So we can't say how many exactly and precisely we lost, but there is alleged to have committed the same. But today, interestingly friends, sandalwood that Veerappan used to send, okay, we encountered him, we thought sandalwood has stopped. But look, the world has come together for a new kind of a timber. Please note, it is called red sanders. And that is grown, it's actually a tree. You think it's like a sandalwood, it is different than sandalwood. If you have seen how it looks like a red log of wood. Interestingly, in India, red sanders has no value, zero. It's actually a wild tree. You ask any officer, he says red sander is nothing but to be used as firewood. It is grown in the unique forests of Tirupati, Coimbatore, Vellore, that area. It's unique to that territory. So why do you think red sanders is being smuggled out of Bangalore? And interestingly friends, do you know the value of red sanders that has already been sent out of India? The value in the international market may run into more than 3,000 crores. That is the amount of one log of timber that has gone. Not one log, but logs of timber that has gone out of the country, which has zero value in India, but has international value. Because interestingly, this wood, this timber is not available anywhere in the world. And it's only available next to Karnataka, next to Bangalore. And it is smuggled out of Bangalore. Either from the Bangalore airport, Bangalore borders, or the Andhra borders. Any person who knows why this was smuggling? Where was he sending this? Japan. Why to Japan? Quickly, come on. No, I know, I have to give a keynote speech, but I am a traditional teacher, unfortunately. I have this tendency of asking you before replying. So, please, quickly.
to make the
Musical
guitars,
instrument.
Guitars.
like
Musical instruments.
instruments like
Red Sanders is not to make instruments. Yes, it is also used for several other purposes, but it has a lot of medicinal value. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to say is, friends, the reason for smuggling of Red Sanders is attributed to the new technological world, because interestingly, this is nothing but what is known as an organized crime network to poach nature. The buyers are in one country, the traders are in one, the smugglers are in one, the carriers are in one country. And hence, friends, while we were in the Dehradun Forest Academy trying to train Indian Forest Service officers, we did try and say why it is important to look at nature as one of the reasons of bringing in the benefits of technology. Let me give you another story. Are you okay with another story? How many of you have heard about the Veerappan of the North? You only heard Veerappan of the South. Whenever you get time, please read about a gentleman by name Sansar Chand. And you are saying, sir, is he a real gentleman? Not really. Sansar Chand happens to have wiped out the tigers of Sariska National Park. Sariska National Park is a very famous national park. Please remember, it's a tiger reserve. This man started killing tigers at the age of 12 years. Now, will you consider him as a juvenile under the Juvenile Justice Act? Yes, currently yes. So even if he kills a tiger, he'll have to just give an essay and probably then say, sorry, tiger, I killed you. Next time I will not kill. I will kill your uncle. So the point is, read about Sansar Chand, friends. You will notice it is India's first case in wildlife where the law of Makoka, the Maharashtra Organized Crime Act, Maharashtra Controlled of Organized Crime Act, was imposed on Sansar Chand. And if you ask wildlife officers why this is important, is because, friends, Sansar Chand had a great network. When he was arrested after nearly 3 decades, even Veerappan was arrested after 3 decades. In 3 decades, they wiped out so many wild species. Sansar Chand, when he was arrested from his house, please note, I'm just giving you rough statistics, these are not exact numbers. 600 leopard skin were recovered, 600. Nearly 1,500 tiger skins were recovered. Tiger skin is not the only thing, claws, nail, teeth, trophy, everything was recovered just from Sansar Chand's house at one raid, and then he was arrested when he was at the age of 53. So from 12 to 53 years he continued to plunder the wildlife of India. So a lot of us think that only the Britishers took away a lot of our richness of wildlife. But in independent India, unfortunately, Indians also did the same. You know why? Because the lure is not from Indians. We actually probably value our own wildlife, we respect it because of religious culture and our own law enforcement agency. But the lure is coming from Nepal, Tibet and China, across the borders. And Sansar Chand had a network. Interestingly, even before technology came in. Even before 2G came in. The network that he had, friends, please remember, why I say this is, when he could do it physically, today with technology, how could you do it? And how could wildlife trafficking take place? Just to correlate that, I am giving you this example. Sansar Chand came from a family of hunters in Delhi, Sardar Bazaar. He had a small shop of leather products. That was the front end. his wife, his son, his uncle. Every relative in Sansar Chand's family was involved in this business. You know why Makoka is applied? In which crime Makoka is applied? In those cases where there is a cartel of people doing some trafficking. One person does not know what the other does. They are just carriers. They just carry. So one hunts, he hands over. One takes, from there it goes to the border, from there it goes to Tibet, from there it goes, that's all. So it is a networking of individuals, where there are hunters, there are transporters, there are manufacturers, there are those who make trophy, there are consumers, there are wholesalers, there are drivers. All of this was the network of Sansar Chand. And finally, friends, when Sansar Chand confessed to his crime, he was close to death because he got cancer. He admitted. He actually disclosed the name of 116 individuals who were part of his network of wildlife trafficking. So if any one of you are interested in green crimes, the story of Sansar Chand is the most investigative story that you should ever read. And most interesting part is, all of this was done even before the core of technology invaded us. And this was based on trust. It was based on family relationship. It was based on the proceeds of the crime that was distributed between individuals. Today, the same wildlife trafficking is happening through the dark web. To be honest, if you want today a tiger skin, can you get it online? Yes. Do you want to search whether you'll get it or not? Would you want to try buying it? You will say, no, sir. The police will come, someone else will come. Because someone is also watching you whether you are searching for any of these items. Because we have established what is known as the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, which is now trying to look at online consumers looking for wildlife artifacts. Because unless there are consumers, unless there is demand, there is not going to be supply. So actually tap and reduce the potential of consumers and demands so that the smugglers and the hunters can also be traded. But the point, friends, is very clear. That today, the fact of people like Sansar Chand and technology, and how can you relate it? Have you really learned the lessons? Are you developing and deploying technology that people like Sansar Chand cannot exploit nature's capital? And do not continue wildlife poaching. That's the critical issue, friends. Unfortunately, I must say that we are still in nascent stage. We are yet to develop the kind of technology that is required, because even now India is the hub for wildlife trafficking. You'll be surprised to know there is a lot of demand because we are at the borders of a country like China. China is one of the rogue nations in terms of wildlife trafficking, and India being a neighbor, it's the easiest thing for China to actually capture and take this away. And hence, India will have to strengthen its borders, it has to strengthen its technology, and if it does not do so, I think we will lose. We already lost the cheetah and we are trying to get it back, but we will lose many of these species that are nearly verge on extinction. Let me come to my third story. I told you I'll tell you 3 stories. Is that okay? Okay. Now the third story is a very local story, friends. Now I'm going to tell you this story, but I'm requesting you to apply why the current state of technology is important to help green crimes. Friends, 2 years back, the Bangalore municipality decided that they will have marshals. Have you seen a BBMP marshal? What kind of uniform they have? Military types. I told them, but they did not listen. Anyway, the point is, you would have seen a BBMP marshal. What are their duties and functions? What do they do? What powers they have? What are they deployed for? Why are they hired? They'll ask you to wear a mask. During COVID, correct. Yes, they were given that task and responsibility. What else do these marshals do? Can they stop you? Ask for a driving license? No, they can't. They can ask you to pay property tax. Okay, you figure out what their powers and functions are, but let me tell you a story about a training program to which I went. And it was an interesting program. I was told that, please train them what they should do, what is the law of municipality, this is their function, this is how they have to do, etc. and etc. So after the training program, usually, they say, sir, phone number, suppose we have doubts, tomorrow can we call? So earlier when I was young, I used to give them the phone number. Then, they used to call up whenever they wanted to call up. So now I give Jay's phone number. So on one of these occasions, one marshal called me and he said, sir, I want to really implement the law. You have taught us really well. No point in just knowing the theory. I want to practice the law. I have a case. Will you help me? I said, of course. So what is the case? He said, the case is that I know one person who is dumping his municipal waste in a particular place. It's in a corner. That's actually where people come and throw their waste. And I know this guy comes every day, and now I want to catch him. Catch him and fine him. Correct. So how do I do that? I said, you stand there when he comes. Yes, sir. How many days? I don't know when he comes, but I know he comes. I said, some personal interest with him? No, sir. I'll tell you, but you tell me how to do it. They said, okay, then you do one thing, you put one CCTV camera. Sir, BBMP does not have budget. And that too, they put CCTV camera where people throw waste. No, where is CCTV camera put? Where celebrities go. So, no sir, these are not the places, so they won't give me budget. So then, what do you think? If suppose you were going to advise this BBMP marshal to catch someone who is dumping waste regularly, violating the law, is not segregating the waste, not handing it over to the local municipality, and you are a lawyer, you are a current generation lawyer, giving a legal advice about this incident, how will you advise this BBMP marshal? See, I went from national and coming to local. It's a small crime. You may be saying, sir, what happens if someone throws waste? It's okay. We all do it. But is it a violation of law? Is it? Is it bad to the environment?
Yes.
Okay, help me solve this.
Inform the local residents.
Inform the local residents so that they all wait in stick. When he comes, good idea, I like it. This is how you bring in unity among your community. Very good. Accepted, but not in Bangalore. We are quite violent people. We can't hold the stick just like that. It has to fall. Any other quickly? Friends, what I told the BBMP marshal would actually shock you. I never thought he will accept this suggestion. I said, please collect the waste. जब तक तुम क्राइम में हाथ नहीं डालोगे, क्राइम नहीं सीखोगे. You must be saying, sir, क्राइम में हाथ डालना पड़ेगा. I said, pick up this waste. Find if there is a evidence leading to the one who is the generator of the waste. We found Swiggy bill, Zomato bill. Can we relate it as the generator of the waste? Is that enough to hold him liable for dumping of the waste? How many of you Swiggy, Zomato bill, top, keep it like that, eat it? करते हो? Or even the bill you, sir told in that lecture, bill को छोड़ना नहीं है. खाने के साथ bill को भी consume करना चाहिए. Bill is the most important evidence. Isn't bill the evidence?
Yes.
Huh? But is that the only sufficient evidence? So the marshal was actually a clever guy. He was also a law student. He was doing his 3-year LLB course. And I asked him actually, LLB, a marshal. He said, no sir, I manage it, don't worry. Anyway, so the point is, friends, you'll be surprised to know, as a test case, I requested the municipal commissioner, he was an IS officer, also someone known to us. I said, why don't you get me the forensic evidence of the food inside this waste as well? Can you get the forensic analysis of your food consumed? What you have eaten? Can it come to you? Can it be related to you? Your fingerprints are there. Can I match your fingerprints? Then can I say you have thrown the waste? Now will you pay penalty or will you run away? Now the BBMP marshal said, sir, Jai Ho, I will do it. But the municipal commissioner said, sir, we can't deploy that expensive technology to haul your waste. One of case, as an example, we'll do it, but probably not in every case. We'll have to probably look at preventive measures rather than punitive measures. Friends, the point is this. The reason why I give this local example is, look at your responsibility. Look at the trace of evidence that you are living. Professor Pokhriyal also mentioned the same. Wherever we go, we will leave a trace of our evidence. Today I came to CMR. I am here. If suppose I have lied at home that I am going to some film, there is a trace of evidence here in some CCTV camera. Oh, why CCTV? This camera only. There is a trace of evidence. Friends, your phone location is known to the police. If you are sitting in this hall, if they want to solve a crime, they can actually know the location of your phone. This is the advancement of technology that is currently present today. And today, thanks to satellite, we can also know the location in forest areas. Yes, it is possible. So wildlife traffickers, where they're roaming, what is their path, whether it was daytime, nighttime, we can actually track and bring those evidences in the court of law. The point is, this technology has to be now made available to the department, it should be affordable, and of course the judges should be trained, very importantly, to make these evidences admissible as a conclusive proof of trespass and wildlife crime. And this is probably very relevant and important, friends. So as lawyers, what is our role and responsibility? Our role and responsibility is not only to understand the definition of crime. Yes, that is important. But we must also understand how to present the evidence of whether the crime can be proved or disproved. For example, very often than not, we always say that a crime has to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Am I right or wrong? You have been taught this in criminal law? Proof beyond reasonable doubt. Who is a good defense lawyer? Who defends? But friends, a good defense lawyer is not one who defends his accused. Sorry. A good defense lawyer only brings about doubt in the evidence of the prosecution. He is not bothered about the accused or his innocence. He knows the accused is not innocent. He knows. He will tell the accused first only, किया है कि नहीं किया बोलो. Because किया है तो ज़्यादा पैसा, नहीं किया है तो ठीक है यार तेरे को क्या. The point is, you have to prove the court that your client is innocent. How do you prove? Do you have evidence? Every evidence today is with the government. Every evidence is in the control of organizations, authorities, regulators. Your fingerprints can be connected by the police. So, private individuals don't have any evidence to prove your innocence. So, the only way you can prove the innocence of your client is by bringing in the doubt in the evidence that is submitted by the prosecution. That is what a good lawyer is. And hence the test of proof beyond reasonable doubt. Reasonable. So even if there is a reasonable doubt, please note the judges are tempted to hold the accused as innocent and not guilty. That's the test, that is the ability, and hence you should develop your abilities to read prosecution evidences. It could be a postmortem report, it could be a blood report, it could be DNA report, it could be sample. Any report that the prosecution is able to submit, you should know how to read it, you must know how to create a doubt, you must know how to challenge that evidence so that your client gets an acquittal. Last but not the least, friends. Internationally, green crimes is now becoming a major problem. Let me just give you one interesting incident. A country like Belgium? Okay, they have passed a law called ecocide. I was a little worried what they meant by what this is, because there are a lot of researchers who are saying ecocide. A lot of people fear that environment is creating a lot of destruction, and that's why ecocide should be a crime. Okay, but I was really worried because Belgium is very close to Ukraine, and Ukraine is being attacked by Putin, Russia. Now, Russia is creating genocide in Ukraine, but Belgium is worried about ecocide. So I was not sure what the contradiction is, but the fact is, world over, unlike if some of you are from Donald Trump's campaign, because he doesn't believe in climate change, but I hope all of us others have experienced what are the problems of climate change. We will notice that today the major issues on environment are also about how cheap technology is also getting transferred from one country to another. But to be honest, friends, technology is also, even if it's cheap, can also be a great equalizer in finding solutions. Now, many of us think that this bottle, which is a plastic bottle, is a problem. It's a challenge, right? And if a cheap plastic bottle comes to India, it becomes a problem of waste. Now, this is where we all Indians should be very proud of. The thing is, wherever there is a problem, there is an opportunity. Do you realize that? And we lawyers also are looking for problems only. Who comes to you with a client? He comes with a problem, right? Bigger the problem, better the business, right? So if there is a diverse couple who are, say, laborers, then not a big problem. But celebrity divorce, major problem. You create the problem also. No, sir. See, bank account is also a problem, gold is also a problem, children also a problem. In that worker case, you will say, no problem. So the point is, in environment when there is a problem, Indians can find solutions. This PET bottle now is recycled. It can be reused. So the point that I'm just trying to think about is, friends, today the law has decided that there is no point punishing people for green crimes. Interestingly, the theory is that we don't need to send people to jail. Of course, we need to send Sansar Chand to jail, Veerappan to jail, and other serious criminals to jail. But there are so many other violations of pollution that are happening. And hence, the theory that is now is restorative justice. So if people are damaging the environment, we will ask them to restore the environment, compensate the environment. Instead of sending them to the imprisonment or to jail, because over there also my money will have to be used to maintain it. Because jail is maintained by taxpayers' money. No point in wasting on it. Rather, make him do the job of planting the same trees, the same environment, regenerating the environment. So Europe has passed one of the most interesting legislations called the Nature Restoration Act. And you will notice, friends, India also has amended most of its environmental legislations where restorative justice has been introduced. So you will notice Environmental Protection Act has been decriminalized. There is no 5 years of imprisonment under the Environmental Protection Act 1986. Instead, there is a penalty to be imposed. There is a fine that is being imposed. So I think this change is also a change that is relevant and important. And we hope that in green crimes, everyone is going to be impacted. So everyone will be a watchdog. We will also take interest in trying to investigate and find who has committed the crime, so the nature and the environment is protected for the future generation. Thank you very much.